Good Monday morning, friends. Welcome to Mama P's Crafty Creations this morning. This is Cheryl coming to you from my kitchen table because it is stormy this morning and I'm afraid the internet may not hold up out in the craft shed. So if you hang out with me very much, you'll know I just got everything moved out to the craft shed again after a long winter of crafting in the house. And now I've had to move some back. So that's how it goes. That is how it goes. Hello, Kathy. Good morning. Come on in, guys. Hi, Missy. Good to see you. We are going to spend some time this morning looking at how you can take a old board game that maybe your family enjoyed playing with. Hey, Janet, or maybe that you particularly enjoyed, and turn it into a themed journal. Okay? So I'm trying to do three things at once. Hey Pat, I have a whole bunch of crafting ADHD going on this morning. That is not my usual. Normally I am pretty organized, but today I feel very weird and lacking inspiration, or too much inspiration is the word, because I've got 100 things going. Hey, Miss Debbie. So I'm already pulling things out for Thursday with the Junk Journaling Jamboree and getting all excited about that. I've got the Monopoly game sitting here and my mind is worrying on what we're going to do. Hey, Phyllis. Hey, Linda. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday morning. I love starting Monday morning. Hey, Missy, here with you guys because it gets my week started off right. Hi, Diane. Thank you, Debbie, for doing that. Thank you so much. That's what I'm trying to do over here, is send the video out a few places. And sometimes it's easier than others, let me just tell you. And I try to ignore that thing. Hello, Patty. Hello. So last week, hello, Novella. Hi. We talked about taking, oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, the weekends get away from me. They really do. I had the grandbaby and I love that time. Oh, Susan, thank you. But I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay. So I hope that if you want to do this along with me, all you need is an old board game, whichever one floats your boat, whichever one you really enjoyed as a family, or maybe your kids really enjoyed. I am not a board game player, so let's just get real honest. Hey guys, good morning. I'm doing really good, Deborah. I really am this morning. But I chose Monopoly because my kids like it, and also it is full of ephemera, right? So you want to choose a board game that's got goodies, you know, it needs pieces. It doesn't have to. You can create your own. But if you want to, thank you, Deborah, if you want it to be as easy as possible for you, find yourself a board game similar to Monopoly or Life or something that's got stuff, right? Because stuff's going to make it easy. Now, all I have done is open this. Hey, Cheryl, we have a lot of Cheryls on here. I think it's so fun. I think we have 4 or 5. So welcome to the Cheryl Club, because here we are. And I have a weird shadow on my nose, which is really bothering me. It's because the light's coming from up there. I don't have anything on my face, I promise. But I may wipe it 100 times now that I see it. Okay, so all I did was open this. This came from my local thrift store. It was $3. I also have another one that I had picked up another time. It's a little newer, and its box is shaped like that, and it was also $3. And I opened them both to get a look at them, and there's one difference that we'll talk about, and it won't make any difference in your book, but there is a difference in how the game was formatted a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. So all you need to play along, and the only thing I'm going to do today, I think, because of glue and that kind of thing, is we're going to figure out our cover, and we're going to get that put together and dried, and then we're going to talk about page options. Hey, Jenny. So that's our goal for today. If you want to craft along, you are not too far behind. And I think we're going to call it Monopoly Mondays until we get this book done. And so every Monday we'll come on and we'll work on the Monopoly book. You printed out your burn quilt patterns. That's all I want to work on lately. I had to come back to the Monopoly game because all I could think about was barn quilts. But tomorrow I'm in an event that just happens to be Fall Farmhouse, and I can make a quilt block work for that. So I'm excited about that. So grab a board game that you enjoy or that your family enjoyed or that you just think will be fun. And this will be, that's awesome. Monopoly Game at the Goodwill thought about me. You should have got it. $2 for a whole journal kit. You cannot make a journal any cheaper than doing something like this. Okay. So let me show you the one difference between the newer Monopoly to the older Monopoly game. I'm going to scoot you back a little bit just so I think you can see better. And the only difference is the way the boards fold. So this is a newer box, and this game board comes folded in 4s. Okay, you did, Pat? Oh, good. I'm so glad you did. All right, so this board, and we're going to use the board to make our book cover, and it folds in 4 panels. Okay, it doesn't make a hill of beans difference, except that you might want to know that. In the older game, so this is a little older one, it comes folded just in half. See that? So it's a longer panel, and it's 2 solid chunks. Like I said, it won't make any difference, except you might want to know that based on your book. Okay, so we have our board, and we're going to use it to make our covers. So this is going to be a super sturdy book because game boards are really heavy duty, which is another little thing. Sometimes people, hey Ann, will buy board games and they want the pieces for crafting, and you can get odd game boards sometimes for almost nothing, and they're fantastic book covers, and you can totally recover the cover, right? You're not stuck with it being, this one is beautiful blue on the backside, so you could make great, I mean, heavy duty covers out of the blue and then just decorate over the board game if you don't like it. Okay, so that's your second hint. Okay, and then let's look at what's inside. You're going to have a panel of instructions, which this is pretty heavy too. This is like cereal box weight in my game. So these will be great little cut aparts, tag making opportunities. We could cut them into segments and make pockets with them. So this is also a great piece that you're going to want to hang on. I make it bearable. Listen to you. Okay. This is all the goodies in my box. Okay. So the houses and hotels, I think you would, my dog is having a scratching fit, and it's been storming all night, so she's a nervous wreck. The houses and the hotels for Monopoly would take a fair bit of work. I'm just going to say it. And I'm not sure I am up to a fair bit of work. But you could, if you had a heated poking device, you could put, hey Peggy, good morning. You could put a small hole through these and string them like beads. And I think it's a great idea, but I don't know if I'm up to it. But I may experiment with that and see. Hey, Linda, good morning. I may experiment with that and see how that works. Because wouldn't they make just the cutest little beads if we put some holes in them? You could also try to figure a way to mount them. Let me show you on one of these little cards. You could mount them and make trim out of them if you wanted to frame something on your cover. I think a Dremel might work. Yeah, I have a soldering iron, thanks to my friend Michelle at the Vintage Daisy, and I was thinking it might have a nice little pokey tip, and I could just heat through that if I was really careful. So we'll see. Okay, then you also have all of the real estate cards that come in your game, right? And these are, again, cereal box weight, really heavy duty. These are going to be fantastic for all kinds of decorating, for tags because of their weight. And then you also have the business card size ones, the Chance and the Community Chest cards. And you have a nice big stack of those. And these are your heavyweight papers. So these are going to be great, like I said, for tags, journaling spots. I can imagine that we could even use them in tandem with one another, put them together, let them hang down. And then these have a built-in spot to write on. These are printed on both sides, but we could put a piece of paper behind them as the backing, if you know what I mean. And then these would both flip around and you could have journaling space. And then you have all the money. All the money in the world right in front of me. And you know, Monopoly money is super lightweight. This is not cereal box, but it's decent paper. So what I would suggest with these, and we'll play with a little bit when we get going, is that we do the backing method where we put 2 of them back to back. And then you can glue them with a good glue stick. If you like to sew, you can sew them, but we can turn them then into little things. And then we have all of the game pieces. And it seems like a whole lot is in here. I wondered if I had extras, but there's no doubles. So we have all of these beautiful little metal pieces, and a lot of them are already ready to be made into charms. Like the little iron here already has the handle that we can run links through. The little Scotty dog is chubby. But that's what I see with these, is that we could rig these into being some really cute charms, okay? However we make that happen. Some of them, like I said, are going to be easy. You could tie on to the little horse and rider, pretty simple with some thread. I love the thimble, but it'll take some more thought because it's solid again. But that's what you're going to get in your board game. So for the purchase of $3, $3 at my thrift store, we have all of these materials, all right? And I love playing dice games, so Paradise is always a bonus. All right, so that's what you have. Then you also have the entirety of your box. Now, I will say I was a touch disappointed and sad that they had taped all 4 sides of mine. So all of the Monopoly logos have been damaged with tape. The end ones we could salvage a little bit, but you also have then all of this material. And these panels you could cut apart and use them as well. You could also use the box as your cover because it is chipboard. It's heavy chipboard, and you have that. And then the bottom of the box, if I flip it over, we're all going to have a show. Here, let me see if I can tuck everything back in and turn it over without too big of a disaster. There we go. This box is in pretty rough shape, but that's okay. And then you have the bottom of your box here. Hey, Kathy, good morning. All right, so we have all of this raw material. We have enough material in here to make a multitude of books. There is enough game board to make 2 to 3 covers easily. You would have the box that you could turn into another 2 to 4 covers. And with all the cards and stuff in here, you have enough ephemera to decorate all of those books. So you could go on a Monopoly game creation party with the supplies that are here, okay? So that's just a little bit of an overview. And also, let me encourage you, I'm doing good, how are you? Good morning. That it doesn't have to be a complete game, obviously, right, from what we've seen. If it doesn't have the board, you've got the box to make a cover out of. If it doesn't have all the money, who cares? You got more than you're gonna need or use for this. So sometimes, you know, an incomplete game you can get for free or almost free. So enough of that. Now, the board takes some planning. And I really have debated over it because, of course, we would love to have the logo, but I cannot, in my limited brain power, figure a way to make that work. So I'm going to sacrifice the Monopoly logo in the center of the board so that I can have ease in my creation. Thank you, Christina. I hope it's a fun, inspiring idea. You know, I love bookmaking in any way, shape, or form. I always have. And I also love the creativity of looking at different sources for materials. You know me, I love a good old country old lady style journal. If I'm making them just for me, that's what they'd all be. They'd all be flowers, they'd all be quilty, they'd all be lacy. But I love the stretch of doing something completely out of that box too. And looking at things like this, looking at materials in a completely different way. You know, $3 for 2 really nice hardback book covers would be worth the money for me. And I could turn these into anything, right? So I have a new X-Acto knife because I can't find mine. And I'm just going to take where the board folds, okay? So we already know it's not as tough there in the center where it folds. And I'm just going to cut it in half. Now, it's not going to be at all perfect because I don't have that kind of control. But I just want to get half of my board, okay? And now that I have that half cut off, I'm just gonna clean it up just a little bit carefully. Right here on this edge, we went a little awry. Imagine that. And I would like it to be as tidy as possible if I can get a hold of it again. Of course, it was going really smooth the first time through. But that's okay. You can trim this out with scissors. You can trim it out anytime. But I just kind of want a clean edge, and no fingers in the mix would be really nice. Okay, so now it's time to do some thinking when we're planning a project like this. Because I need to decide how big do I want my pages, okay? Because I know it's brand new, Michelle, it's brand new, and it's Hobby Lobby brand. I usually buy them at the Dollar Tree because I lose them so fast, and sometimes they work better than others. So if we're thinking about our book, let me clean a little bit. I stacked a bunch of paper over here in this chair. So if I had just a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, which would kind of be a standard size for a journal, right? This half size of board is pretty good for me in height wise. You know what I mean? I like it. I got a whole bunch more. Oh, this is the other one. So I just need to kind of figure out how wide do I want it. I'm a visual person. All right. Keep the volume low for now. I'm a visual person. So for me, it's way easier to look at my paper laying on my book and then decide how much of a ruler I need. Now, you may be a real math person and know that your half sheet of paper is 5.5, and so you just want a 6-inch book. But for me, that's not quite deep enough because I want to be able to have things on the top and the bottom and the sides. So I think, looking at my paper sitting there, I probably want a 7-inch cover, okay? 7 inches across, all right? So I've got my handy dandy little kitchen cutting board here. And yes, it is my kitchen cutting board. I use it in the kitchen. I do wash it in between, okay? And I'm gonna measure 7 inches. And I'm gonna see where that fits. And do you see where it kind of is right here on this board? Of all the things on my table, I don't have a pencil. Excuse me while I stretch and grab a pen. And of course it's on my table, and so it's a Sharpie. So, you know, hey. So I'm gonna measure 7 inches from my edge, and I'm just gonna put a little dot, and I'm gonna do it real close to the black line anyway. So if it would happen to show, it won't show, okay? So I have 2 dots, and I'm gonna line my ruler up on those 2 dots, and I'm gonna cut directly from there. Okay, just one piece, one side. So I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna really push on my ruler because I really want it to stay where I want it. And I'm just gonna go through, okay? And even with a good sharp X-Acto, it may take a couple of passes. That's okay. And then we should be able to kind of get it to pop. See that? It'll just kind of bend. And then I can take my X-Acto knife and get right in that bend and finish it up. So I know it should be pretty straight, right? I've completed it. I can take out the ruler, and now I can really muscle it in. Okay. And there we have one piece of our cover. So we have, I love that we have this. I definitely want that part of my book. And then we have a beautiful, clean blue cover. Then I'm gonna come in 7 inches from the other side. Now I'm doing from side to side because Mama P's lazy when she can be. I want as much finished edge on my cover pieces as possible. So as opposed to taking 7 inches and then 7 inches, I want my 7 inches to be on the pretty part and from both edges. Does that make sense? I think it will when we cut it out. So again, I'm gonna make a dot at 7 inches and again at 7. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna really press down on this ruler, really press down on it, really hard, and cut right along the side of my ruler. 1, 2, we can go a little bit harder now that we cut a groove. It should kind of want to stay in its groove. Okay, and now we can bend it, right? And once we get our crack through there, we can go the rest of the way through. Okay, and if all went well, hooray, we should have 2 matching panels now, our front and our back cover. All right, that leaves us this much that we can decide. I want my spine to be equal to my book. Now this is going to be heavy, and when I go to punch some holes in it to put my signatures in, you're going to have to remember it's really heavy. So you're going to need a really good hole punch, okay? I don't want a gigantic spine because I get overwhelmed with them and I never finish them. So let's just be honest with that. I'm better with a 2 signature book than a 4. And so I'm thinking about 1.5 inches is about the width of the spine I would like to have. So 1.5 inch mark. These will not show by the time we're done. I think that side's a little crooked. Let's trade. Let's trade. And now my 1.5 inches is exactly on the line. I can't see it. Let's put it on this side. So same thing, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and then we're gonna cut through the board. What kind of, oh, a guillotine? I have one, but it doesn't cut a straight line anymore. I need a repairman that can straighten out my old guillotine cutter, but I do love one. Funny story. One of the first, well, not my first church office I worked in, but on one of my very first days at a new church, I should say, where I was going to work in the office, I came in one day and I didn't know everybody at the church real well yet. You know, it takes a while. And I heard this, gosh, awful chomp, 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 chomp noise going on. And I went looking in the office workroom where the equipment was, and there was one of our sweet little old ladies standing at my guillotine paper cutter in there. And I mean, she was just chomping papers like crazy. And I don't remember who it was now, but I do remember saying, what are you doing? Can I help you? And she looked up and she said, I needed to shred some paper that she wanted to keep safe, and she thought that guillotine cutter was the way to do it. And I thought that was so funny. And I never forgot that the whole time I worked there. Okay. So now, again, if all goes well, we should have 3 matching pieces. We have 2 covers and we have our spine, okay? And we're ready to make a book. We are ready to assemble a book cover. Now, I've given some thought, and you will have to give some thought, as to which side of these covers do you want on the outside and which on the inside, okay? So maybe you want the game board to be the outside of your cover, which I think is great. Or maybe you'd rather have the solid blue cover and have the whole Monopoly thing be a surprise. Like your book would look like this when you first see it, right? And we would decorate it and add our own Monopoly theme to it. We could do a mixed media. We could decoupage on some of the pieces that are in there. There's some fun thoughts with using the solid cover. There really are. Or do you want it to be the Monopoly game board on the front cover and then add a decorative element just here? And do you want it to scream Monopoly right from the second you see it? So that's the decision to make. And now is the time, unfortunately, to make that, because we've got to glue this thing up with something to stabilize it. Oh, Debbie, thank you. Thank you. My favorite thing in the whole world is to look at things and see something different, right? I was just telling Michelle this morning when we were chatting that I was at the lumber yard yesterday getting some wood for a project, and there was a whole pile of wooden pizza peels, you know, the long-handled things that you get pizza out of a pizza oven with. And they were beautiful, and they were super cheap because the guy bought a whole truckload. Mixed media on the outside to make it yours. I love that idea, Sherry. And I'm really leaning, I'm going to tell you, mine's going to be blue on the outside because I want to, for a couple of reasons. Anyway, and I'm looking at those pizza peels. Now, the last thing I need is a pizza peel. I don't have a pizza oven. but I looked at them and I saw them turned upside down, and the post would be a yard sign. You know, you stick the post down and you have this beautiful shape, wood, that's already lovely, and you could make a great little address sign for the front of your house. You could put a little, anything you want on there. You're going to the thrift stores. You go, Dana. You do. Okay, so I'm going blue on the outside because I want to have that freedom with my cover. And you can change your mind once this is glued up, but you would be super mindful of how you, like I said, I'm 100% visual. I'm going to use this fabric ribbon as my strip. Okay, I like the colors with it. It's a little bit different. Most of it's going to be covered with something else, and it's sitting here handy, and I don't have a pair of scissors handy. Like I said, everything's out where it should go. So when you put yours together, you're going to need something to glue it together with. And I always use a piece of fabric ribbon. You guys know I come across that stuff like, I don't know, it finds me. And you're going to want to line it up, and then this is going to cover your spine. And so if your Monolpoly board is going to be your outside, hi Antoinette, that's my middle name. That is my middle name, and my daughter's middle name, and my granddaughter's middle name. And I hardly ever see anybody named that. It's so good to see you. So you would just want to think about that a little bit. If, you know, how much do you want to show on each side, that kind of thing. All right, but I'm going blue. And like I said, we're going to cover it inside and outside, but you can do a thinner strip on the other side if you want to. Hey, Andrea. And I always start mine, I think you can see that, with tails hanging off the top and bottom so I can wrap them in. All right. And you need a decent amount of space. There is not a magical number for this. And you can see mine's not perfectly straight, and it's not going to matter either. But you do need to leave dead space between your two, all your seams, because these have to turn, okay? So you just kind of eyeball it evenly. And then because it's fabric, I'm using Fabri-Tac. You know how I love and hate some Fabri-Tac. Now, just a reminder, if you guys are here and you're new to me, at the end of this video or toward the end, we are doing a giveaway for people who had joined my Telegram channel. And we're up to 79, y'all. That thrills me more than you know. And if you would like to hop off and join my Telegram channel, there is a link on my page in the link tree, or if you go down a few posts, I posted a direct link. I've got my cards and my game bin all ready to go, and everybody will go in there, and we're going to draw a prize winner today. And you can either have a Monolpoly set that I will send you so you can make a board game book. Ooh, I got it spit out. Or you can choose a barn quilt 8x8 set, and I'll send that to you. Okay, so if you want to hop out and come back in, do that. We'll give you a few more minutes. Okay, this glue is almost empty, and usually that means I set them aside and use them when I'm not live, so nobody else has to listen to me try to squeeze the glue out. And I did grab another one. So this is Fabri-Tac, permanent fabric glue. If you let it cure, I can't stand messing with that. It is as good as sewing. So I recommend it whenever you're working fabric to anything, but specifically if you need to do fabric to fabric. All right. I also recommend you don't touch it if you can at all avoid it. So I'm just going to take a piece of my cardboard here and I'm going to smooth it down. It will leave a ridge through your fabric, so smoothing it will help with that as well. Okay. And then I'm just gonna, I've only glued that spine piece, so that's yuck. I got it on me, I don't like it. Hello, hello, welcome. Okay, so now I've just glued this completely on, okay, on my spine piece. And then I like to then switch it and put my fabric underneath, okay, so I can see where I'm going on my covers. All right, but we want the blue on the outside. So I'm going to catch that, and I'm going to turn it. And now this ribbon is particularly handy because it has the rose on it. So now I'm just going to run my Fabri-Tac down my fabric ribbon, and you can use a strip of anything. You could use, I do like a little heavier if I have access to it. Denim works great. Good morning, Good morning. Denim works fantastic for these, but any fabric will work. Even a good heavy piece of ribbon will work just fine too. Okay, and I'm just gluing down both sides. And then we'll have to set this aside to dry. Fabri-Tac is permanent, but it does need to dry. It's not like hot adhesive that is set in a second here. It does need a little bit of time. But I'm going to show you how to completely glue it up. Now we put some good pressure down. Okay, now we have our 3 pieces together. I just want to make sure that it has enough bend, and it does. Matter of fact, this one could come in a little bit. So make that adjustment while the glue's still wet, and then give it another fold up. You want it to almost touch for stability, but not completely touch, okay? So there we go. Now we have the 3 pieces are down. They're not stuck yet, but they're down, and you can still wiggle them a little bit. Now, I like to take these tabs. Everybody has their own method. Nobody's method is wrong. This is mine. And I like to glue these down and over for a finished edge, okay? And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna go right back in at both ends with my gooey glue. I'm gonna smear it down with my little piece of cardboard here, and I'm gonna fold it over and stick it down. And you know I had to do this one first, or I'd have stuck my hand in it coming over here to get this one. You know I would. Okay. And I can kind of make it straight. So when I folded this one over, I wanted these lines to be straight. I'm taking every advantage of what I have in front of me right now. Okay. And then to finish it off and make it look so pretty, if you look, I'm sorry, I can see a part of your comment about the notifications. Terry, it is there, I promise. And I changed it to public, so you should be able to just search Mama P's Crafty Creations, no capitals, no spaces. It should come up. Or try the direct link that I made a post about a couple of days ago. But I have had that happen on a number of times. So now I just want to put a nice clean piece in here to cover everything inside. So I need to go to about that line of checks. So now you want to clip. Yeah, it's there. It is there, I promise. So don't give up. There is a front and a back, and I didn't cut that very straight. You see that nick out of there? So I'm going to even that up because I don't want to mess with that. The direct link that I posted as a post a couple of days ago has been working really well. Okay, so I just want to lay this down. This one I want to be a little bit particular with. I want it to fit right and smooth. All right, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. We're going to glue it all the way across and all the way down, covering the board and the other ribbon, and we will have a tidy, hopefully, covered spine at that point. And I'll show it to you, and then we'll have to set it aside and let it dry. Smooth it out. Smooth it out. Yeah. There we go. And then I just want to, I'm not happy with where I set that down. Fabri-Tac does give you a minute. I greatly appreciate that. I want to line it up really nice with my edges, and then I really want to give it a good rub down. I'm sorry. This will not be our last and only giveaway, because you'll see in a second, I bought the coolest game cage in the whole world to draw prize winners. So we're going to start coming up with different ones. Okay. So now you can see the glue, but it will dry clear. And now we have, all right, one more thing before we set this aside. Now we have it. Thank you so much for doing that. So now we need to really decide which is our outer and inner, okay? And I want the blue to be my outer, so I want you to see this. You see that? You need to take a minute, now that you know which one for sure is gonna be your inner and outer cover, and you wanna push that binding fabric down into the grooves, because it's gonna wanna make a peak, you see here on this side, and you want it to make a valley like this side, all right? So fold it over. It's one of those odd angles. I can't really show you and do it. And press it into the groove, all right? And then it'll dry flat. And you wanna do this, now while it's wet, because if you let that dry, it gets really, really difficult. So now we have a great smooth cover. Oh, good, Marcia, I'm so glad. And we'll have this beautiful edging that we can cover or leave exposed. Everything is good to go. And then this is our inner cover. And we have everything. We have the edge of the board on the bottom of this set and the side. We only have the top unfinished that we'll do something with that. Okay? Yay, Dana, good. Good. Okay, do you guys think you could put together a book cover now? It's very intimidating in the beginning, but it is, with this method, I'm pretty much successful. And I would tell you when I'm not, you know that. So this would be great fun for a group of ladies to do. And imagine this is half of a board and we still have this left. We can make a cute little mini journal out of this. We may have to put that together before we go today, because I'm thinking a mini one would be so cute. Okay, but this needs to sit. Fabri-Tac to be at its full adhesion honestly needs 24 hours, okay? And if you, like me, when you get done, you see little spots that are sticking up, that's okay. I'm gonna let this sit and I will touch those up when it's dry. But right now, it's pretty much where I want it. And I'm just gonna set it just like this, standing up, and let that glue really, really dry. All right, now let's look at this little scrap, because you know I hate a scrap. Let's use it up. Let's make another one. So this piece across, my board across, measures 9.5 inches. 9.5. So if I take 4 off each side, we could have a 4, we could either have a 4 or a 4.5 inch book and be okay. I don't usually work in anything smaller than that. Okay, I'm not reliable if you get much smaller than 1/2 inch. I wish that wasn't true. That is so true. So let's do a little 4-inch book, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing. I just draw my dot. I'm gonna hope for the best on the straightness. Does that look pretty straight? I could have done several dots, but you know, now we're getting a little cocky. You can also, let me show you this. So now I've scored, right? I've put a score mark in here. I don't have to cut all the way through if I want to use the whole board. And since all of this is going to be unfinished, but this edge, let's look at this. So now let's go. We have 5.5 inches, which would be 1.5 inches if I use the whole thing. But that might be kind of fun. We might like a chubby little spine. So 1.5 inches here, 1.5 inches. Let me make some more dots, because now I'm getting a little more technical and I'm gonna wish I had done that. And that goes with this. This goes with this. Are y'all watching me? I swear I need a keeper. Okay, so let's line this up, and instead of cutting all the way through, let's just score this. All right. So I'm just going through it. I'm not pushing so hard. I want to get maybe halfway through my board, and then without taking it apart, I can bend it, right? And you automatically have your cover here put together. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? You got to cut it on what's going to be the outside. So our outside is determined for us by where we cut it, but you can just score it, right? And then come back and cover it. You still need to cover it because these are going to be weak. these seams, you know, with repeated use are going to eventually come through. Okay? Holes in the spine before you tape it together. I do not put my holes in before I tape it together. And I only don't do that because my puncher will go through the fabric and everything, and this lets me see exactly how it dries up and how it sets. You can, but then you got to make sure you can find the hole again, which neither here nor there, it's not too hard. But you can just score it and fold it, and then put a little bit of your fabric, whatever you're using. It really is a great way to use up old fabric too. And you can use back or front, all right? So we got it this far. Let's go ahead and finish it. So let's just squirt some of our glue here. Again, I still always do my spine first because if there's a mistake to be made, I'll find a way to make it every time. So if I put it on my spine first and kind of get that situated, I feel better about getting it straight on the book. So I'm just going to flip it over where I can use the grid of my ribbon, and I'm going to press it down. And then I'm going to put my glue on the sides here. It's really hard to see it on the fabric, so. And then I'm going to, with it folded now, you see I have this folded up somewhere on there because I need it to work when it's folded. It's more important that it fit right folded than flat. So you want to glue your, when you're doing it this way, just save yourself a little bit of a headache and hold it in its folded position when you glue it on. Okay. Oops. A little smooth. And pull it right up there. Okay. So we just covered it. Like I said, this will dry away. It may leave a little bit of stain. I always recover these, so I don't worry about that. If you worry about it, you have to be very meticulous with your glue and how thick it is, okay? And with this one, I'm going to let it set and dry this way, but then to cover the inside, I'm just going to draw these two pieces in and glue them down, all right? But I think it'll be easier and more apt to be straight if I let the outside dry first. So that's ready to set aside. All right, so out of 1/2 of our Monopoly game board, we got a full-size book, right, that holds 8.5 by 11 paper, and we got a sweet little mini book that we'll do. And that's 1/2 of the game board. And we still have a whole other half of a game board, plus we have the box, which would easily make 2 more. Okay. Does that make sense? Is there anybody that has questions about using fabric? This is from my guy I got all the lace from, and it's ends of fabric rolls. And I have several different colors of it, and I use it a lot for my bookmaking. But that's what this is. You can use any old scrap of fabric, though. Let me make sure you understand that anything will work. This is no heavier than muslin. Okay, so anything muslin weight will work. Okay, let's look at paper ideas for a Monopoly book, because what fun options. Yes, you can use any game board. Yes, you can certainly message me with any questions anytime. I'm super happy to help. Paper choices. How fun and creative can we be thinking about Monopoly as a game? Clue would be great. Can you buy fabric ribbon? Yes, you sure can. You sure can. Or you can message your friendly lady here. And I would be happy to put some. And I can also make some bundles of that for our next sale. I bought, you know, I'm always looking at books. I love books. And I found this really cool, gigantic coffee table book. Look how big this is. And it's the front page, hey Katana, of the New York Times. And it's lots of them, lots and lots of years. And I ripped the page out that has the stock market crash as the headline. Worst stock crash stemmed by banks. And I thought, how fun will this be for a book page in our journal? So we're going to use a piece of this. We can probably get easily 2 pages out of it. So this is just a fun book. And then I just grabbed some ideas for you, things that you might look for or have handy. I have these, you know, I love a composition book. Do you know that? Y'all may not know that. I love a composition book. And I found these that have graph paper on one side of the paper and lined paper on the other. So each sheet of paper, they're different. So one side is lined like this, and the other side of the page is graph. It's all about the railroad. Lisa, what a fun route you could take with this if you stretched it out with the train theme. I think that's a fabulous idea. Okay, so I thought that might be fun. Then I grabbed some of my columnar pad, you know, the good old ledger paper that people really used to use and nobody uses anymore. Perfect in this book because it's business, right? So we've got that. I picked this up a long time ago, but look at this. It's a money memo pad and it's $100 bills with Santa Claus in the middle. There you go. Are they all Santa Claus? She asks herself questioningly. Yes, they are. They are all Santa Claus. And then lined paper on the other side. I thought, how fun is that? I also have in my craft collection, now these are the little ones, and I got some bigger ones. These are coin envelopes. You guys familiar with coin envelopes? That's what they were used for, was holding coins. And so we could make some really sweet little enclosures for our book out of coin envelopes. It's all about money. These are also fairly close to the size of the cash. Let me just show you that this coin envelope is really close to just the size of the Monopoly money if we trimmed off the edges. You remember coin envelopes? They happen to be one of my things. I'm a container fanatic. If anything holds something else, I'm in love with it and no more needs to be said. Envelopes, boxes, bags, baskets, all of them, all of them. So super cute, right? Mini book out of these, I love that. The only struggle that I have with them when I'm going to use them, and I'll show you, is that they're really, really snug up here with their opening. So if you want to be able to use them as a pocket, you can make them backwards and put the little flap outside, right? Yes. Or you need to use a cutter and trim out just a little bit more. That's just a free hint. I grabbed these cute, fun colored little brads, little mini brads, because I think our book may need some color, and color can kind of come hard. So I thought they might be fun. And then in my paper stash, I have a collection of resume paper. Y'all, I love resume paper. It is one of my favorite finds anywhere I go. I will find those boxes of business papers. I always find them on Marketplace or in yard sales, but Lindsay, they can be ordered from anywhere. Or send your friendly favorite crafting lady a quick message and I'll see what I can do for you. Resume paper. So this is a beautiful ivory color resume paper. Resume paper is thicker than typing paper and it has a little bit of texture to it. Most of them, I did bring the box in. Let's see. This is from Crane Company and it's heavyweight. It's 24 pound. Most copy paper is 20 pounds and it is cotton fibers. So it is texturally, it's much stronger. This is a piece of it here. When you tear it, it will give you just a little bit of a feathered edge more naturally because of the cotton fibers that go through it. And it is heavier. Like this is totally opaque, right? You can't hardly see my hand through that at all. And I don't have a piece of regular paper sitting here. Mama P doesn't have a regular piece of paper on the table. But you could, take my word for it, clearly see my hand through a regular piece of paper. Okay, so those are my special ideas for pages for this particular book. So we've got our resume paper, we've got our money pad, we've got our graph paper, we have our headline paper, and then I just pulled out some of my go-tos. This is just craft paper weight that may use. Look at this fun thing. This is a basketball scorekeeping card. You guys have been to high school games where they're keeping the paper records? Well, this one is made for basketball and it looks like this. on the inside. And I just love the look of this. I love it, love it, love it. And there's a lot of green in a Monopoly board. You know, the whole money thing, I guess. All right. So this is what I see. So I will take everything that's bigger than 8.5 by 11, and I will cut it down to 8.5 by 11. Not, you know, tight, you know that. And then put together an order of pages out of all the things that are bigger than 8.5 by 11. And that's when I'm going to go back and figure out, okay, where can I put some coin envelopes? Where can I put some of this fun money in here? And all of that great stuff. Okay. Now, like I said, I had to grab a few things and come inside, and I don't think I have my paper cutter sitting here, and I don't want to scissor cut these papers. So I could tear them. You guys like to tear paper? I love to tear paper. Debbie Zerger Fritz, I have too many treasures. I have too many. And I always feel bad because I think I've been at this a long time. I have been a bookmaker and a book lover for years and years and years. And the collection of things that I have been slowly collected over time. I have a museum of fabulous quality vintage papers, but I have collected them over 20 years of time, and they are rare finds. I don't ever want you to be discouraged about starting a project because you don't have it takes time or money. If you have a lot of money, you can buy it, or it just takes time. These things I find, the thrift store has got a 50-cent tag on it on the money pad. You just have to kind of open your eyes for those kind of papers. All thrift stores, my favorite place in a thrift store is the business section. And sometimes you have to hunt, but it's where the office stuff goes. And this kind of stuff just, you know, people empty it out. Or, thank you, Marcia. Welcome. Welcome. So you just have to kind of open your eyes to those possibilities. I also grabbed some of these cellophane bags. You guys remember me working with these. I am going to... this is what I'm going to, as a little hint on Thursday, I'm going to be doing one of these fun see-through shaker journal covers for our circus-themed junk journaling jamboree on Thursday. But they are fun enough that this would be a really fun element. So I'm going to press one for this book because there's so many cool little pieces, you know, the different cards and stuff. I think they'd be really fun just tucked in to see. Don't start going to all the thrift stores because I said so. That's trouble. That's trouble. Trust me. Then you're going to have a shed and a house. But these are my ideas. Okay. So are you guys ready to do the Telegram thing? Are you ready? Are you excited about that? You'll have to get some of those. Okay. Right here, I'm on my phone. I'm opening up my Telegram. It tells me, guys, we have 86. It tells me right at the top, 86 subscribers. So what I did is I took some old playing cards and I've numbered them from 1, and I have number 86 right here. We do not want that to access my microphone. Let me clear the decks here a little bit. And so I've taken all these vintage playing cards, the plain ones. Look at my fun basket. Did you hear me just say that from Idaho? Welcome, Mary Sawyer. Welcome. That I got this really cool thing. Look at this. I love containers, right? And somebody, oops. Fell out the slot. Somebody in my town was selling this. And I need to fold these in half so they don't come shooting out, or I'm going to have to put a piece of tape. And so all the cards, numbers 1 through 86, or whatever I just said, are in here, and we can spin them around. I wish I had a piece of tape handy. I just had the blue tape out just yesterday. But we can just spin them and toss them. And then the door opens. It's a funny bingo barrel. It is. And they recommended using ping pong balls, but those are expensive. Mama P had playing cards. So I'm not going to look. I'm looking at you in the camera up here, and I'm going to dig. This is just for Telegram subscribers. Yep, every Monday from here until this book is done is going to be Monopoly Monday, and I will come on every Monday. Okay, I have a card. Just one. And I will show you guys. It is number 21. number 21. So now if you, as a user of Telegram, I can open my app and it will give me a list of all of my subscribers. And they are not in time order. So I can just open that up from 86 and I can look at the subscribers and I'm just going to count down 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Miss Kendra, I see you on here all the time. You are number 21. So, Miss Kendra, I have not seen you this morning, and I will make a post, and you let me know if you would like to have a Monopoly journal kit, or if you would like to have a Jenga block quilt block pattern, all right? And I will try to send you a message as well to let you, oh, there's Kendra. It's you, Kendra. Which one would you like, sis? Would you like Monopoly or quilt block? You tell me, then you'll have to message me your address and I will get you a gift out. And we're going to come up with a plan to do a prize drawing fairly regularly in here because now I got these numbered cards. So I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. And probably every time we get 100 names, we'll do a drawing or more for the bigger things. Okay? All right. You guys have a great day. The Crafty Bunch is on this afternoon at 2 Central, 3 Eastern. Hey, welcome. Watch them. It's Crafter's Choice on Monday in the Crafty Bunch all the time, and you can see what they're up to. If you want to craft along, grab yourself a used game somewhere. There's some really cool old ones if you want to invest really fancy. A new one just at a yard sale is all you need. And get yourself some covers caught. If you have questions, catch up to me, and it will be Monopoly Monday until we get this book finished, both of them now, because we have our little mini book drying up and we have our regular. And all I'm going to do between now and next Monday is get papers prepped for the signatures. That's it. So all you need to do is get a game board and collect some papers. Linda, I can send you a direct link if you need it. I am so thankful for you guys. You have no idea. You have no idea what you mean to me. Thank you so much for hanging out. You guys have a great day. I'm in an event tomorrow where we're going to be making a quilt block. It's Sacred Treasure House Girlfriend Day. And one of our viewers picked a theme, and it is Fall Farmhouse. So we're going to tackle that maple leaf quilt block pattern, and we're going to fall it up. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.